Hi, welcome back now to some huge news from the world of rugby.
Former Wales and British and Irish Lions fly half Dan Biggar has announced his retirement from the sport, and Dan joins us in studio today. Great to have you alongside us. Massive news. What's the reason behind your decision?
Well, thank you for having me. I think it's just I always wanted to do it on my own terms. I always wanted to go out when I was sort of still relatively fit and healthy, and it just feels like the right time. Someone once said to me, "When you know, you'll know," and I'm kind of at the stage where I'm knowing that it's time to move on to something different, and also give my family a little bit of time back as well. They've had to sacrifice so much over the years, and I've got two young boys who I need to give a little bit more time to than rugby permits.
We have to say, congratulations on what's been a phenomenal career. 18 years in total. We can see just a few highlights behind us here. It was hard to pick out, just a few, but can you talk us through some of the standout moments of your career?
Yeah, it's 18 years sounds like a long time when you say that. There's been plenty of ups and downs, but I think probably I look back and I set myself some goals, obviously, of becoming a Welsh international when you're a young boy growing up in Wales, and that was amazing to get my first cap. But I never really wanted to just be someone who just had one cap or was deemed an okay player. I didn't want to just have one, I wanted 50. And then when you get 50, I wanted 100 sort of thing. So I think becoming a test centurion was really special. Not many people are in that club, so I think to do that was incredibly special. And then becoming a test lion, those were, I suppose, in the big goal setting scenarios, those were the two big ones, and I was able to do those. I think for me, the one thing which is really sad, which I haven't been able, my mum passed away a few years ago, and for everything that she did for me when I was young, taxi driving, support, everything, she wasn't there to sort of witness the test lion, the 100 caps, the move to France, etc., etc. So that's a bit of a bittersweet moment, but yeah, look, incredibly proud of what I've achieved, and it looks like you've done a good job in making me look all right behind you. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that century of test caps. Your record is at 112. You scored 633 points. When you started, could you ever have dreamed of achieving those kinds of numbers?
Not when you no. When I started, when I was sort of 15, 16, really starting to get into it, it was kind of one of those where it was, yeah. When you start, you don't see the big picture. But then I suppose as you get to 15, 20, 25, 50 caps, you sort of think, okay, well, there's plenty more left in the tank, and you've got a bit more to go. And but I mean, when I look back and maybe take stock of things, which I will in maybe weeks and months and even years to come, I think I'll be pretty proud of what I've achieved, yeah.
Yeah, because there are so many achievements, and like you say, you've got some time now to soak it all in, because in fact you rank 4th for the most points scored by a Welsh player. How does it feel when you hear those types of achievements?
Well, I mean, it's better than not being very good, I suppose. But I think it was just, yeah, like I think when you look back, when I take stock and when I've done sort of little bits and pieces towards this, and I've looked at, what I've achieved, what I've won, how many games I've played in, etc., etc. I think when you take stock of it all, you sort of realise how well you've done, really, and how proud you can be, I suppose. And nothing lasts forever. And I think it's important now that I think it's important for me to sort of move on to the next chapter of my life. It's been everything. It's given me everything, this game, and I'm so proud and so privileged to have sort of played it for so long and achieved so much. But I think, yeah, like I said, when you know, and I definitely know at the minute, yeah.
Yeah, your stats are very impressive, but equally impressive is your kicking routine. The fans gave it the nickname the Biggarina after the 1995 hit, the Macarena. We won't ask you to do the Macarena.
Julia.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we will ask you to talk us through your routine, where it came from, and when you first really knew that it was such a hit with fans worldwide.
Well, I can't believe it's 10 years ago now, back to the 2015 World Cup in England, and I felt a lot of pressure going into that tournament, being the frontline goal kicker, and I just got really quite fidgety, and it sort of just went to another level, really. And then I wasn't really aware of it in the game after the England game where we played in 2015. And then I came into training on Monday morning, and basically all the boys were passing around their phones on YouTube and stuff like that. So I had a fair bit of stick taken out of me. But I am very glad that I was quite successful under that routine as well. So if I wasn't successful under it, I'd have taken a fair bit more stick, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We look at you representing the British and Irish Lions 3 times during that tour of South Africa in 2021. Can you share some of your memories from that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really difficult tour because it was COVID times, and I was lucky enough to go in 2017, which was a real Lions experience, whereas the 2021 tour was more of a play-in for the Lions, if that makes sense. The pride and wearing that shirt was just incredible, but it felt really strange with no crowds, no restaurants, no bars, no anything, like no supporters around in the cities and things like that. So, I mean, just an amazing experience. It's a concept that just the way whenever people ask me this, it's like the concept just shouldn't work. That you've got 4 nations coming together after playing against each other for 4 years, and then coming together in the space of 3 or 4 weeks to go and play a team that's been together for so long. So, but it just does work. It just does. As soon as you come through the door, as soon as you get on the plane, as soon as you get on the pitch, everyone's got a common goal of winning a test series or being the best that they can be. And that's what makes it so special.
Yeah, so the British and Irish Lions in action in June. Who would be your captain, and are there any late shouts, do you think, to make the squad? Anyone pushing?
Putting me on the spot, yeah, fair play. Who would be? I think probably Caelan Doris is just, probably I'd say it's probably between himself and Itoje at the minute for the. I think Caelan Doris, because of given how much familiarity there is in terms of the Irish coaching, there'd probably be a lot of Irish players on board. So I think having someone like him who's been there around, knowing the system, the players, the management, the staff, etc., will be a big plus. So I think he's probably just going to pip Itoje if it was my view. And I think late. I think it's I hate doing this because it's like one weekend you say this guy is going to be on the tour, and then they have a shocker. Then next weekend you say this guy's going to be tour, and he doesn't know whatever it is. So I think Jack Willis is going to be out there. I think he's going to be a shout. I think playing in Toulouse, playing his club rugby out in France, maybe someone who doesn't quite get the recognition, but potentially a good strong end of the season with Toulouse. He could be on the plane.
Oh, Dan, look, it's been an absolute pleasure having you in the studio on such a momentous day for you. Congratulations again on a brilliant career, and we look forward to seeing you in the studio a bit more now.
Thank you for having me, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.